everyone, welcome back to Callie and Beans Books. I'm Brittany, and today it is time for my November book corner. I'm so excited. I finally finished The Night Country, so I'll talk a little bit about that, the current book I'm reading, and the other projects that I'm working on besides reading. Kind of in a reading slump, I'm not gonna lie. There's nothing really that's jumping out at me that I have to read, even though there's so many things I want to read, if that makes sense. So hopefully after the holidays and after our house is set up a little bit more, I always feel like there's always something to do. Then I can probably just jump back into reading and tackling the TBR that I have. So I finally finished The Night Country by Melissa Albert, and I overall gave this a 3 out of 5. I'm a little disappointed with it, I'm not gonna lie. There were parts where I was like really intrigued and really excited on where the story was going, and then there were other moments where I'm just like, this isn't what I thought it was gonna be. It was actually kind of boring at times. I remember that Hazelwood being very exciting and dark and twisty, and there were so many things that I was really looking forward to at The Night Country, but it just kind of fell short. There weren't as many moments where I felt nervous for the main character. There were some intense scenes, don't get me wrong, but overall I was just like not feeling it as much as I thought I was going to. I was really excited about this book, and overall I was happy with the ending, but not with all of the parts that got me from the beginning to the end. There were a lot of moments where it just didn't make sense with the story, and there were moments in dialogue that was just like, this doesn't seem like it fits. The language was interesting to me. I was not anticipating so many uses of the F word. It was interesting because I wasn't anticipating it. It kind of fit with the story and kind of fit with the characters and the way that they're written, but then there were other moments where I'm like, I don't think this really fits with the story. So yeah, overall I was a little disappointed, but it was a decent story. I'm glad I read it. It kind of sucks that that's kind of what sent me into a reading slump, was a book that I was looking forward to. So the next book I jumped into is one that I've been wanting to read for a while now, and that is Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. And I am not very far into it. It's definitely a difficult read. At first, it was a little hard to get into. I definitely can't read it when I'm ready to fall asleep, because it is one that it's an interesting story. Obviously, Lord of the Rings is one of my favorites. It's just reading it is way different, and I'm loving the immersive atmosphere and the adventure and everything like that. It's just as hard as I thought it was going to be, maybe even harder. So it might take me a while, probably be the book that I finish 2020 out with. I'm hoping that it doesn't take me too much longer, that I can really dive in and really read the story. It's just one that it's going to take me a while. When I do finish it, I know that I've put out a couple of TBR videos or talked about what books I want to read going forward. A couple of the books that were my high anticipated reads that I still have not picked up. Hopefully picking up for Christmas and things like that. But for the books that are on my shelf that when I'm looking, I really want to read, I have 3 in no particular order. It's going to depend on how I feel after I finish Lord of the Rings. I know that I probably won't be reading the trilogy as a whole back to back to back. It's going to be one that I definitely split up. So after I read The Lord of the Rings, I'm probably going to need a break from the fantasy stories and a lot of action and things like that. So I plan on picking up The Right Swipe by Alisha Ray. This is a book that I've had my eye on for a while, that it's been sitting on my shelf. I just haven't picked it up yet. So that'll probably be the romance I snuggle up with after finishing Lord of the Rings, because I probably won't read the trilogy back to back to back. So I'm hoping to jump into this story. I've heard a lot of great things about it, and I'm really excited about it. So I'm going to probably read that next. And then I know I've talked before about being done with some fairy tale retellings, but this one is one that's been staring at me that I've been really wanting to read, and that is Reflection by Elizabeth Lim. And it's a Mulan retelling, and Elizabeth Lim is an author that I've definitely fallen in love with over the last year. I'm really excited about this story. I love her writing style, so it's definitely one that I plan on picking up soon. This next story is one that I've had my eye on. It was one of my anticipated releases this year, and I absolutely love the cover, so I'm really excited about it. It's just been one that I didn't pick up right away, and now that I have it, it's been catching my eye as well, and that is The Stars We Steal by Alexa Donne, and I'm looking forward to reading it. That's why I'm pulling it for the 3 that I want to read after finishing Lord of the Rings. Granted, I don't know if this is going to be the right order. You guys know me by now. I say I have these plans for my TBR, and then I just flip it on its head and I don't do it. So these are the 3 books that I've pulled off to probably read next. It just might change depending on how I feel. I'm definitely a mood reader, and it also depends on if I can find a book to really get me out of this slump after Lord of the Rings, because it's hard wanting to read and not feeling interested in a story. So hopefully I can pull myself out of this slump after Lord of the Rings with a nice romance and back into YA fantasy. But we'll see. Stay tuned. The next thing I want to mention is what I've been also working on. As you guys know, I do like to cross stitch, and I've been working on something for myself. Granted, I'm not a Gryffindor, but I've been working on each of the houses have a pattern very similar to this. I started with Gryffindor just because I've already done this pattern, so I figured I would do it again. So I'm starting with this one, and then of course I'll do Hufflepuff, Slytherin, and Ravenclaw. Not sure if that'll be the order. I just know that I really like these patterns, so hopefully I can finish them soon. But I am going to be jumping into another project. We do Secret Santa at work every year, and I'm really excited about the Disney patterns I have picked out for my person this year. So that's the other thing I'm working on, as well as reading. Maybe I'll jump into audiobooks again so I can listen to books while I'm cross-stitching, but we'll see what happens. I'm really looking forward to jumping back into reading, jumping back into cross-stitching, and hopefully finishing out the year strong. Definitely not going to reach my reading goal, which is unfortunate. I was starting off really strong earlier this year, but that's okay. There's always next year. So that is everything for me for today. Thank you for tuning in, and be sure to subscribe to our channel. We post new videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and head over to our social media pages on Goodreads and Instagram. All of the links will be in the description below. Until next time, bye.